Gut, dann haben wir den 13. November 2023 und heute machen wir ein Thema, ist wichtig, bestimmt schon mal gehört, allerdings heute aus der Supply Chain Management, Supplier Management Perspective, Make or Buy, okay? Make or Buy Criteria. Habt ihr schon mal gehört in anderen Vorlesungen drüber?
Ja.
Ja, haben wir schon mal durchgenommen.
Einen Moment, ich werde angerufen. Dígame. Sí. Sí, sí. No, está rota. Sí. Vale. Que estoy ahora en una reunión. Si puede ser breve, por favor. Correcto. Vale, gracias. Adiós. Entschuldigung. So, Make or Buy Criteria und hier, so die Frage ist, habt ihr schon mal drüber gehört?
Ja.
Inwiefern oder wie ausführlich? Hallo?
Also ich weiß, dass wir es hatten, ich weiß aber nicht mehr, wie ausführlich wir es hatten.
Eine Vorlesung oder 3 Vorlesungen oder eine halbe oder ein Paragraph oder wie war das?
Keine Ahnung mehr.
Ah, alles klar.
Aber ich glaube, es war schon also mindestens eine Vorlesung.
Okay, gut. Also, wir schauen es heute aus der Sicht des Supply Management und ja, es wird eine Vorlesung und wahrscheinlich auch eine Übung geben nachher. So. Erstmal ein Introduction. So, in the process of carrying business activities, carrying out of an organization, a product or service can be made or made, it's understood within the organization, or bought. This means you buy it outside the organization, okay? So you have the choice, and sometimes it's good to buy it, sometimes it's good to make it yourself. in many situations, the organization should evaluate each alternative depending on several criteria. Okay, like cost, knowledge lost, quality, and so on. It is important to know that in the long run, also langzeitig, mittelfristig gesehen, the make or buy decision is not, or not, this is very important, okay, is not static. Okay, so you need to review your decisions depending on demand changes, supply chain disruptions, like the pandemic, stuff like that. Okay, so one decision can be reviewed after some time. The make or buy decision should be periodically reviewed usually is yearly for key suppliers, key products, and every 3 years for the rest. Okay, in order to cope with the changes throughout the supply chain. Okay, so basically you have a process or a product, better said, you have a product and you have two options. You have the option to run it to run it with your supplier, and then get it delivered either to you or to your customer straight. Or this is buy. Or you have the option to make it yourself. And then you deliver yourself the product. And the issue here is the most important thing to consider is that you need to consider the whole supply chain, not only cost, but holistically the whole thing. Okay, otherwise you might make mistakes. So this is just an introduction. I guess probably you've heard of it before. Nothing new under the sun. Any questions?
No.
Good. Then we go to the first, and this is relevant for the exam usually. Something about this is going to be asked. First, the qualitative criteria, and then quantitative, okay? For make or buy. Decision. Okay. Qualitative. So, criteria for make. You decide you're going to make it. So, why? Endpoint 1, let's say, okay? The finished product. Can be made cheaper. So the first criteria is cost. By the supplier. Here, important, okay, so I paint here a one of these things I paint usually, so here, important. Okay. Here you need to look at the overall supply chain cost. Okay? Not only at the production cost per unit, the overall cost. This is super important. And if you mention this in the exam and you don't mention that you need to look at everything, then you have a problem, okay? So for instance, if you have a factory in Mexico delivering by truck to your factory in the US, and this factory delivers by ship, to the factory in Europe. It's not the same as having a factory in China that delivers by ship to the factory in the US. Why is not the same? Can you tell me why? Hello?
Yeah, well, Mexico is a lot closer to the US than China.
Yeah, so we have here maybe 1 day, and here maybe 1 week, and here we have 3 weeks of inventory. So if anything happens, the key issue is always, if you discover here a mistake with the first process, you only have 1 week of inventory in your boat or in your ship or in your truck. With this process, you have 4 weeks. Okay? So the issue here is always quality related cost, guarantee cost. Okay? Remember that. Not only production per unit, but the overall cost. So this is the M1. Very good, Janice. Good intuition. So the second issue that might want where you might want to consider making the product yourself is demand variability. Demand variability at the customer is high. In this case, your production should be more responsive to this high variability demand, and this is difficult in buy situations. The third criteria is if demand, overall demand, variability increases along the supply chain We call this the bullwhip effect. You've heard of it, probably. bullwhip effect. And the fourth criteria is happens when inventory, I mean, they're all related. Inventory increases for this will impact quality negatively. This is what we call Little's law. You remember Little's law? Hello?
I don't.
Well, you have it in your first semester production management lecture, Little's law. Hannah und Jacqueline, seid ihr da?
Ja, ich bin da.
Ja, bei mir ist die Verbindung heute ziemlich schlecht.
Okay. So Little's law, throughput of a process measured in parts per time unit. Equals the WIP, work in progress, measured in parts, divided by the lead time, throughput time, or Durchlaufzeit, measured in time. Okay. One exercise that is good for the exam is that you try to explain exercise. Explain why quality goes down when inventory goes up. This is something that I usually ask in the exam, okay? Has to do with Little's law. You can try to answer this. And of course, you can ask me if you have any questions. So even another important factor here, and another Ausrufezeichen. Even when the cost per unit at the supplier is smaller than the cost per unit at our facility, this will be buy, or this would be make, okay? This does not mean that buy is better. Okay. We need to take all costs into consideration. I hope I make this clear enough that it remains in your mind for a long time. So the fifth element here for make, fifth criteria, is the finished product is being manufactured only by a limited number of outside firms which are unable to meet demand or flexibility requirements. Okay. Another point. Think about, for instance, decisions that Apple makes when they outsource their key products to China, and what happens if China and the US have a problem geopolitically, then Apple is, let's say, fucked, okay? So the product has an utterly importance for the firm and requires extremely close quality control. In this case, it is usually strategic to make, because if something goes wrong with this product, then you are in danger strategically. And number 7, the product can be manufactured within the existing facilities and is similar for instance design to other items in which the company has experience. Okay, so those are the qualitative criteria for make. Here, yeah. So any questions?
Not yet. I think the criteria is
They're
clear.
fine, right? Good. So let's say what happens with the buy. So B1, the product requires instruments which are only available at the potential supplier's plant. Okay, so this is one dumper for you. Second possible criteria for buy is the company does not have facilities to make the product, so you don't have capacity, and there are more profitable opportunities for investing the capital. Let's say here we were looking at the return on invest. Okay. Or let's say existing facilities of the company can be used more economically to make other products, other parts. So B.3, the people skills employed by the company are not sufficient or adaptable to make the new parts B4. This is, for instance, what happens if you try to sell your products in China. You need to produce part of the product within their facilities, so patent or legal barriers. That prevent the company from making the part B.5 demand might be temporary temporary or seasonal, so that you prefer to have let's say a what you call in German Verlängerte Werkbank. So you don't want the capacity to be at the investment to be at your facility, but you have it at your suppliers, and you'd rather pay a fine if you stop buying their product. So, or and we can work on a just in sequence basis with the supplier, because if that's the case, then many of the problems are so if you get your supplier to sign off a just in sequence contract, then a lot of the problems attached to make are gone. Okay? Questions?
Not so far.
No.
No? Okay. Then let's give, I'm going to give you one example of quantitative criteria for make or buy. The first one is the simple cost analysis. So let's say a company has extra capacity that can be used to produce a product which has been buying for 900 euro each. Okay. If the company makes the product it will incur in material cost €300 unit. Labor cost, so the people, of €250 unit. And overhead, also people, of units. Okay, €100 unit. So the fixed cost associated with unused capacities is €1,000,000. Demand is 500 units a year. Question, make or buy? Okay. So what is, we compare the cost of buying. This is a simple cost analysis. What is the cost of buying?
€900.
So the purchase cost is price unit, price per unit, time demand, right? So this means €900 per unit times 5,000 units per year. This means 4,500,000, right? Hello?
Yes.
So this is the kind of things that, sorry. This is the kind of stuff that can be very easily asked in the exam. Okay, so, and then you have a fixed cost capacity, which equals 1,000,000. Also per year. So if you put both together, cost of buy is 5.5 million. Right? Per year. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jacqueline?
Yeah.
Good. Then cost of make is a little bit more tricky. You have the variable cost per unit equals material plus labor plus overhead equals 300 plus 250 plus 100 euros per unit, equaling 650 euros per unit. Okay, so the total variable cost means 650 euros per unit times 5,000 unit per year, meaning 250 million euro per year. And the fixed cost capacity equals 1 million 10 too much. No, it was correct. 1 million euro per year. So the cost of make turns out to be 450 million euro a year. So what do? We make, right?
Make the product.
Because the cost is not so or is less high. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So you cool? Okay, let me give you a problem statement for you to make. In case you want to do it at home. ABC Corporation. This is as a preparation for the exam, okay? Is a global manufacturer of advanced technology products the company is producing currently component X, which is a complex specialized part. Complex product. In-house. So they are making it. Okay. However, recent market dynamics, including fluctuating raw materials, prices, and geopolitical uncertainties have impacted the cost structure and supply chain related. In the last fiscal year, the in-house production incurred a total cost of 8 million euro, with a defect rate of 5%, leading to additional warranty claims costing €500,000. The current lead time in-house is 12 weeks. On the other hand, external suppliers are offering to produce at a unit cost of €7 of 7 million, sorry. The unit cost of €7, yeah. No, at a total cost of €7 million, with a guaranteed defect rate of 2% and a lead time of 20 weeks. Please argue if you would keep the make or would change to buy. Here there are some things where you need to be aware of, that are important for the exam, so ich sag's auf Deutsch, okay? Here, remember the Oxford comma, okay? So if we put a comma before an and, then it means that there are not only raw materials and geopolitical uncertainties, but there are also different factors going on, okay? It's also important to see that they are offering. So this might be or not. So you need to account for some risk in your, when you think about it. So here you need to, let's say, risk tolerance. I don't know, 20%, okay? You also need to take into consideration that you have a different lead time, so that means maybe the supplier is farther away, okay? So they have some logistics, and the lead time impacts quality, so there is an issue there, so take into consideration Lidl's law as well. Okay, as we saw here, Lidl's law, okay? So this is the kind of things that are going to be asked in the exam, apart from the theory, of course. Make sure you not only give me the numbers, okay? I am looking for a decision-making process. So bitte nicht nur die Zahlen, sondern auch eine Erklärung dazu. Okay? Ist verständlich?
Ja.
So
klar.
in die Richtung geht halt nachher die Prüfung. Okay? So, Fragen zur heutigen Vorlesung?
Also für mich war alles klar.
War strukturiert? Passt es
Ja,
soweit?
sehr gut gemacht
Ja.
tatsächlich. Für mich, wie gesagt, sehr verständlich.
Okay, gut. Und dann, warte mal, nicht gehen, okay? Ich mache kurz Stopp.